friends, it's Ash, and I'm coming at you with another video. Today I will be showing my art supplies that I've got for my second semester at art school. I know that art school can be really daunting because of the price tag of the actual tuition and then having to buy all the art supplies for your classes. So I just thought I would give you a rundown of the kinds of supplies you may need and just like the price of everything, and just let you know this will not be exactly what you may need because it is directed to my specific classes, but my classes are foundations for first years at my school, so a lot of them will be general art supplies that you can see yourself needing. So let's get started. The first thing you will definitely need is a carrying case for all your art supplies because odds are you will need a lot. And a lot of art teachers, at least almost every single one that I've had here so far, has said that you really want like a toolbox like this one for all your art supplies because it's like a hard box. It's going to keep everything secure and safe. There's even like a little lock on it because some of the things we'll need are especially all of it together will be kind of expensive, and it's more sturdy than say a backpack, so your brushes won't get mangled, your charcoal won't snap as easy, and it's just a really good investment. They're not that expensive. This one was actually given to me by the school when I came for the pre-college program for illustration. So I had this already, which really was because it was another thing that I didn't have to pay for myself at the time of getting these art supplies. So what I'm going to be doing is just going through every art supply that's in this box and saying what it's for, what class, and just basically say what you would need it for. So let's open up the top compartment. And the first things that you will need are fine tip pens. I have microns, and these are actually the first time I've ever bought microns for myself. I'm dropping them all over the place. I've used microns before, but that was my high school art teacher's supply of them. I never had my own, but now I do. These are really good for, especially if you're an illustration major like I am, you really will need some good fine tip pens. Even if you don't use them too much in your first foundations year, you will definitely need them. I have used them a few times in my classes, but I've also used them a lot more in my personal work, and they're just so good. I especially love the, let's see, where is it? The pack I got came with many different types of pens, and I really like the Pigma Graphic one. It's really good. It's really good for bold lines in illustration, which I'm really fond of. I also picked up a couple that were in different colors. I got pink and I got orange, which are just really fun colors that I really enjoy. And so I really recommend those. Next, I needed this for my 2E class, are some graphite pencils that are fully graphite. They don't have the wood covering them. And this was actually used, well, not this one specifically, I got two. One that was this smaller one, and one was a thick one. And I used the thick one for my first project, which we did a lot of rubbings. So what you do is kind of like that thing you do in preschool where you put something underneath your piece of paper and then you scribble on top of it, and it creates an imprint. And we did a lot of that kind of stuff in my first project, where we used that, and we also used the next thing that I'm going to show you, tracing paper. Now, my teacher specifically said I needed to get this yellow tracing paper, for the project, and I just think it's really good and really useful in general. Like, it's really nice just for planning out stuff. I haven't used it that much outside of the project, but I can definitely see how it would be really useful. The next things that I needed for art school are a variety of adhesives. The first one is going to be this Yes Paste, which I'll show you is completely viscous. Like, there's glue in here, but like it's not going to come out no matter, like, because it does not have the liquid component of, say, Elmer's glue. And that's really for collaging, though you can use it for really like anything. It's more of a paste, and what makes it really good for collaging or gluing like paper is that it doesn't warp as much. So if you've tried like using Elmer's glue and gluing papers together, you can see how it like does that like warping effect in the paper, because there's a lot of water in it. This doesn't have water in it, so it avoids that, which is very useful. Then I also picked up this E6000, which is actually not like on my school list, but I've seen a lot of art YouTubers use it, and it's a really strong holding glue, and I've used it for personal projects, and I've even used it a couple times in my 3D class. Lights coming in. And then the next adhesive that I have, which I don't actually have in my toolbox right now because it's in my backpack, because I only needed the glue stick and one other thing for one of my classes, so I didn't want to bring this because it's really heavy. But I'll fix it later. But yeah, the next thing is a glue stick, and it is the UHU brand glue stick, and that is because it is archival quality, which means it won't degrade the paper over time. So if you've seen like young kid grade glue stick and construction paper kind of glued together, how it turns yellow over time, and that's partly because of the paper and also partly due to the glue stick. You can see like where the glue stick is, it creates like yellow streaks in it, and the glue stick archival quality means it won't do that. And so it's made to last a lot longer, which is really important when it comes to preserving your art and making sure it lasts for a long time. The next thing that you are basically always going to need when you're in art school are push pins. And this is because for every critique, you're going to need to push pin your work to the walls, and depending on how many works it is, how big it is, you're going to need more push pins, and the teacher's not always going to have push pins for everyone. And it's always just really good idea to have push pins with you just in case. And the ones you really want to get are the metal push pins, not plastic ones, because they're just stronger, a higher quality, and less plastic is always a good idea. It's also, depending on how hard the wall is, I know for my final exhibition in pre-college, I needed to hammer the push pins into the wall because the wall was really hard, and you really can't do the plastic ones. They will just shatter, and so metal ones are really the way to go. The next thing on my list was gesso. This was the Blick brand white gesso. It comes in white or black. You're looking at the white one. And if you don't know what gesso is, it's basically a primer for whatever surface you're working on for painting. It makes it so the surface you're working on doesn't absorb the paint as much, and so you don't need to use as much paint, and it also makes it look better and brighter, and it just like makes the paint adhere better to the surface. And so depending on what surface you're working on, this is a really helpful, good thing to have. So going along with the gesso, the next thing you'll need in art school is paint. And not just any paint, but you will need the 3 primary colors. And so you can't just get any like red, yellow, and blue paint. So yeah, you need to get the ones that say primary red, primary blue, and primary yellow. Not canary yellow, not ultramarine blue, not crimson. The primary colors, because they are what you will need for color theory. The different shades of the different colors will create different results when you are mixing them. So the primary colors are specifically what you will need. And then, of course, white and black. Now, these are all the same size because I got them in a set that came with this. So it was the Liquitex like texture building kit. It came with 2 bottles of white paint, the primary colors, black, and this flexible modeling paste. Now, this is a medium you can put into the paint to make it thicker and add more texture. This is not something that I needed for class, but when I went to go to Blick to pick up the primary colors, they had like full tubes of them, or they didn't have all of the full tubes. So I was looking around for sets because, again, I needed the primary colors, and also sets can many times be cheaper than getting each of them separately. And this is the set that I found that I was like, huh, this is really interesting. I might be able to use this for a personal project, so I got that one. Oh, and another kind of glue that was on my list that I forgot to mention was tacky glue. This is another thing I needed for my 2D class. And this is just something that you can use to adhere 3D things to different fabrics. It's like, or to different things, like if you were going to attach, this is like what I used in elementary school to attach like macaronis and stuff like that to things. And it's just really helpful to, like, for the tack it has, what I call tacky glue. So just like, even if it's not dry, it will like be sticky to like just stick it there, and it won't like fall apart right away. The next thing that I needed for my 2D class was embroidery thread. And these are not in the package because I've used them already for my first project. But embroidery thread, really simple, really, like, you know what this is. So it's just like different colors of like kind of like thickish thread that I have used with my project with the rubbings to sew some of the things onto the paper. So the next thing you'll need are actually in here, and that is pencils. Now, you'll be like, obviously you need pencils, but specifically you need the different kinds of pencils. These are both 4B, because 4B is my favorite pencil, but this one's also 4B. But you will need like the 4Bs, you need some Bs, some Hs, so, and these are ones I needed a lot in my first semester. But they were also on my list for this semester, so it's just started, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with them. Well, obviously draw, but like exactly what the project is going to be, because I'm not in a drawing class this semester, but I'm in a 2D and 3D class. So I'm not sure what they're going to be implementing it to, because it's not going to be like straight up drawing. But yeah, you will need the drawing supplies. And along with that, you will also need paintbrushes. That is for the paints, but you will also need a big, cheap paintbrush for the gesso. Because with the gesso, it's like I said, a primer. So you want, whatever, depending on what size thing you want, you just want to like slather it all over. And so you really don't need a nice paintbrush for that, but you need a big paintbrush for that. And you know, the big paintbrushes that are like really nice can be quite expensive. Like the ones I saw were like $20-30 for one paintbrush. When you can get the cheaper ones that like fall apart a little easier for like $2, but it's just like for the quack, 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 and priming it. And then next, these are probably something that you may not need, but they were on my list for my 2D class, and that is linoleum blocks for stamp making, which I'm really excited for. I've made stamps twice in the past, once on linoleum when I was in 8th grade, and then once with cork when I was in 9th grade, but since then I haven't really like touched any of these, but it was really fun, and I'm really excited to do that again. Ooh, then the weapons. You're gonna need some sharp boys, and by sharp boys I mean X-Acto knife. Artists, you'll know what this is, for making smaller cuts and things. And you'll also need a box cutter. This one's kind of like a rinky-dinky one. It's not like a heavy-duty like box cutter, but it's worked for me so far, and I got it because it's really cute. I like the colors. And you'll also need a pair of scissors, which again are not in here because they're in my backpack. But y'all know what a pair of scissors looks like. And a ruler for measuring things and getting straight lines. And then, so this is a really helpful thing that is like small enough to be in your box. But for home, I really recommend a straight edge, which was not on my list, but I bought it last semester for drawing because the midterm we had to work on this really big, like 22 by 30 piece of paper, and I wanted to grit it out so I could take my sketches and really put it onto the big piece of paper, because I'd never worked on a paper so big before, and it really helped me like not feel as afraid of it. And the straight edge just made it so much easier and faster to work with it. And if you don't know what a straight edge is, it's like a T-shaped like ruler and then a T to make sure it's like straight. I used it in my video where I created this wall to cut these pieces of paper really straight. So you can see me using that in my creating this wall video. So the last few things I'm going to show you were not on my list for things I needed to buy for class, but Blake was having a really big sale, so I bought these for my personal use, and I just thought I'd show you just to like give you an idea of like where I'm at and what things can be cool for you. So the first things that were on sale at Blake that I bought were these boards. They're canvas panels, and I honestly really like working on these panels more than I like working on actual canvas sometimes. They're just a lot sturdier for the things I want to do, and it's just like easier to take care of in the long run. That being said, I did buy some actual canvases, and that is these ones that are 16 by 20, and I bought these because I really want to work bigger. I have this thing where I've always worked really small, but I really want to make some bigger arts. So like these are the smallest ones I got. They're 8 by 8 because I really like the square. I really like square panels. I don't know why. I just really like working on a square. And then I got 11 by 14 in this one, and like I said, 16 by 20 on this one. And then I wanted to get a new pad of paper. So I got this one, the Canson Mixed Media, and then I realized they were buy one get one free. So I got this one in those black paper because I just thought it was like really interesting, and I can maybe do some really fun stuff with this. And then I left, and then I went back another day, and I was like, and I got more. And so all the ones that were on sale were the 9 by 12 pads, and so I went back and I was like, I do want to get some watercolor paper. And then I got another pad of mixed media paper, because mixed media paper is really what I work the most on, because in my work I use, a lot of my ones recently are ink and pencil and acrylic paint. So mixed media paper just works a lot better for me, because sometimes when I'm drawing a piece, I'm like, I'm not sure what I want to do this in, and it kind of has to go along with what the finished sketch looks like before I move on to doing a thing in ink. Or so next on my I bought this for me kind of thing was these, and this is gouache. I bought like regular gouache. Actually, these ones I think I had already, but like I bought some regular gouache, some big tubes like this. But then I also got these ones, which are neon gouache, which I saw people at my pre-college using it. I saw the teacher had some, and then I saw one of my friends had some, and I was like, ooh, that looks really cool. I never got it then, but I've always wanted it since then. And so when I went to Blick, I was like, gimme, gimme. And then the very last things I got, which I got for class, but were not on the list for class. I just saw them and I was like, ooh, this seems like a thing that could be useful. Because on my list, actually, that I didn't show you, were ribbon needles, which are just like needles with really big eyes. So you can thread like ribbon and stuff through, that were on my list. And because of that, I was like, And so I got some of this, which is like scrap ribbon, and I also got this, which is scrap paper. I actually got two of these at different times. So it's like a big pack of scrap pieces of paper, I guess, like edges from like papers that they were selling, like pieces that came off the scrap of it. And the same brand also had scrap ribbon, so I was like, ooh, that's really cool. I'm going to get some. And I've actually used this a lot in my sketchbook for my 2D class, because in the sketchbook, she wanted us to take notes in the sketchbook, but in a creative way. So I've been using a lot of these papers to kind of collage my notes, and it's been really fun. I really suggest that for when you're going to write in your sketchbook, and just like keep the creativity flowing and make it more fun to take notes. This is the way I want to take notes forever now, because it's just so much fun. So in all, with all the stuff I bought, excluding the extra sketchbooks and the gouache, because I got those at a separate time, was around $175, and that was with the back to school sale going on. So I really recommend, if you're going to buy art supplies, get in there when there's a sale happening, and get a preferred member card for the art store you're going to. So yeah, what I have with Blick is their preferred membership card, or like preferred customer card, and what that does is when I checked out, it checked the prices with online and matched it if it was cheaper online, and that gave me even more savings. So get the card for the store if it's like free, and just like seeing what the benefits are, because the Blick card free, just sign up for it, you get the card, and you get savings and rewards. And then just going for their back to school sales. Art stores are really, Blick specifically has a lot of sales all the time, so that's really a good store that I really recommend going to, unless you're trying to get like fabric or sewing supplies. They really don't have that kind of stuff there, which is kind of sad. Like, they had the ribbon needles, but they don't really have needles for sewing smaller stuff, or because the ribbon needles are kind of blunt on the end, because they're a lot thicker. But they don't have any like regular sewing needles or like fabric or stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it helps some of you going into art school maybe, or just hope you enjoyed watching me talk about my art stuff. Oh, there's a cat. Do you want to come on screen? You want to come? He's just going to stay off screen for a bit. But yeah, If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.